Hello, hola, ciao. What is good? What is good for me, Kelly Paratelli, is that I have made the conscious decision this week, the week of Thanksgiving, to count my blessings and be thankful for the things that I have. I'm incredibly blessed, and I'm very thankful for my life. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have become a self-published, independent author in the world that we are living in today. As a woman, looking back on history, many women were not able to write or read until much later after men. But not only that, there's many people today on earth who are unable to have access to the education, experience, and resources needed to publish a book. However, I also will tell you that there is hope, because it's not as hard as they make it seem, especially with today's technology. And so technology, I have decided, with everything going on in the world with AI, is really what you make it. It is what the maker makes it. So if you're a good person with good intentions and you choose to use technology for good, so I believe will be the result. But I am making this video today as a finally promised, long promised and worked on video of how to self-publish through Barnes & Noble's self-publishing house, which they call B&N Press, Barnes & Noble Press. All done online. Because this is the platform that I used to publish my book, Testimonials by Kelly Paratelli, which is a compilation of non-fictional short stories and poetry, rhyming poetry that I've written throughout my life, and compiled, as I've said in other videos, and typed up and edited what I had already written in countless handwritten journals throughout my life. So I did already create a video called Self-Publishing for Beginners, and that video is already up on my YouTube channel. I do have a playlist for self-publishing and my book, and that video is really for anyone who is interested in publishing a book, who has never had any idea where to start. So that video is for people who are starting from scratch, whether you've got written things already in journals that you just want to type up, edit, and put together, or whether you're starting to type everything up in a Word document or Google or Excel or whatever it is you use to create and edit and write your actual content. So I did say the very basics for anyone looking to self-publish a book in that video, such as your kind of need, I guess, to know about computers and how to use them, because all of this is done online. You do have to have some sort of platform for maybe Microsoft Word or Google Docs and be familiar with that kind of technology and computer skills. That would definitely make this whole process go faster, but I am going to do a tutorial how-to video, exactly step-by-step, with screenshots of how this website looks, how I did what I did for publishing and uploading in this video. I may put it as multiple parts because it could end up being really long, and I've looked and searched other YouTubers who have thousands of views on these how-to videos of how to publish through Barnes & Noble's Press, because people have done it all over the country. But I'm making this video because, one, I had intended to do this from the beginning on my YouTube channel to help other people step by step through the process and what it will look like for you. I myself am a very visual learner, and so my two ways of learning things best have always been seeing them for myself, seeing visually what they look like, imagining what it will look like, and doing it myself. And audio learning hasn't been as helpful for me as visual. So I'm going to show my screen and how it looks. I have screenshot recordings that I will walk you through with my voice and tell you what they all mean in the step-by-step process here, without hopefully making this too long. But it is very helpful information if you are one of those people who are truly interested in publishing your own book, with the platform that I did use. I will also say another reason I'm making this video now is one, because a lot of people have asked me recently in real life, in my workplace, in my friend circles, in the real estate photography industry that I have entered into now, other artists, and just random people that I've known throughout my life who actually messaged me from seeing my posts on social media and have reached out personally and asked me, could you please tell me how you published your book, how long it took you, what the process was like, how expensive it was. And it's actually free to self-publish through Barnes & Noble Press and through Schuler's local independent bookstore, where my book is also on the shelves. I published through Barnes & Noble, and I will say, and I've already said, that my next book will be published through Schuler's, but this specific video is going to be how to publish through Barnes & Noble. And I did refer them to that first beginner's video guide that I made. And really the only things that cost money is the printing. It costs you to print depending on if you wanted to do a paperback copy or a hard copy. And I'll show you in these screenshots here, the printing costs, the copyright claims to purchase your copyright content cost money through the United States of America. And the ISBN Bar Code that you have at the bottom of your book here, as I've mentioned before, are the things that actually cost when it comes to publishing. But like I said, with technology, if you use it well, we're living in a time where it's actually easier than ever to self-publish a book. So that being said, I am still in the process of getting my book on the shelves of the fourth recently opened location of Schuler's in Bloomfield outside Detroit in Michigan. But right now, currently, this book is on the shelves of the 28th Street location of Schuler's local and independent bookstores in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the Okemos location outside of Lansing in the middle of the state, and Ann Arbor outside the University of Michigan on the east side closer to Detroit. So I will discuss more in depth later the differences between publishing through Barnes & Noble and what it would be like in Schuler's. Currently, it's nice to have both because, one, I truly want to support local and independent businesses as much as humanly possible. And like I said in my last video, there's no other local and independent bookstore to the size and scale in the whole country that is like Schuler's. So it's nice to be able to have a physical copy of my book on their shelves, even though this is considered consignment. But soon, when I have more money, I will join what's called the Ingram Sparks Indie Authors Association, where I will then be in the computer at Schuler's, and you will be able to find my book at Schuler's online. Right now, through Schuler's, the only way you can get this book is to walk into a store and purchase it off the shelf. You cannot find it, and you will not be able to order it online. The only way you can currently order this book online is the link in the description of every video that I post on YouTube through Barnes & Noble Self-Publishing House. So currently that gives me an option to have this book both available online through Barnes & Noble and on the shelves through Schuler's. I'll discuss more about that later, but again, this is specifically for this link that I've posted in the description box of every YouTube video I have that shows the Barnes & Noble link, the price of this book, and the beautiful 5-star reviews that wonderful people have written about my book after purchasing it and supporting me. And again, any support is appreciated for my YouTube channel as well as my book. Please subscribe and like this video to help the algorithms and push it to the top of the search list. Any comments help, any views, any shares, anything like that is greatly appreciated. That being said, I hope this video is helpful to anyone looking to publish a book. I feel I'm doing it for good and honorable right reasons. The last thing I'll say before I get into these details is some people have said to me that they believe that the only people who publish books or engage in art practices while they're alive are people who are selfish, and I highly disagree. And the reason why I support living artists is because I'm honored to say that my book at Schuler's is on the shelves near other self-published authors like this lady Theodora, who one of my great friends and sisters in this world alerted me to, and her book probably describes the greatest human adversity and every human adversity you could possibly imagine, and the propensity for human resilience to overcome these tragedies and become stronger. This lady is the definition of this, and it is a true biography that she wrote in her final days of life because she knew, like I did, that for it to be a true, authentic voice of hers, she had to publish it while she was alive. Because once you pass away, it's not the same to produce art. It's not the same when somebody else is filtering through and editing what was your true voice. The fire content comes while you are alive. This is another example, Viola, this beautiful woman from the United States of America, who not only was a black woman during the times of this country where unconscionable things like slavery were going on and women still did not have rights. This woman was actually blind, but she wanted to publish a book and it was her dream. And she published through Schuler's. Local independence was a truly good thing, just like Theodora and just like me. And this woman decided that she would have her daughter edit it for her and dictate it and transcribe it for her so that her true voice would also be out while she was alive. These are just two examples, two great examples of why I believe it's important to support living artists and to support people who are brave enough to speak up and be themselves and share their true light and love and voice with the world. That being said, let's get started with this video. Okay, continuing on with the review of the interior file. This is the last step in this interior section called the review, where it basically just shows you once you finally successfully downloaded your document, your book. For me, it was a Word document. That's typically what most people would use, but maybe you did it in PDF or Google Docs or whatever it is. Once you successfully upload it and you don't get any more error messages and it tells you that you've done it correctly, this is where you can go and review what it will actually look like when it is published, what it will show on each page, how it will be. This is where you can go in and see the details of your finalized book that you've published, where it shows the size, the finish, the page count, and the document that you used. And then this is the cover, which is done separately and uploaded separately. I did that through Canva, through the 30-day free trial. I already talked about how I did my book cover design in another video. And these are all the other details, the price and the ISBN code, which we'll get into that later, but that has to be purchased separately, ordered and approved over maybe a 2-week period, where you would finally get that number, and you only have one number per book, edition, version, or whatever. So if I do a Testimonials Part 2, I'll have to get a separate ISBN code and pay a separate fee. But this is what it will look like exactly if it was printed on each page, the formatting, the margins, the size, and everything. And this is where you go to do the cover. So once you've finished with the interior, now we're onto the cover tab portion of your upload. So this is where it says upload front to back or upload cover file, multiple or one. I'm doing one full cover file because that's the way I created it on Canva, and I wanted to make sure that I saw what the spine looked like in correspondence with the front and back of the book. So this is where it shows you that the cover size is the same as the paperback size, which makes sense. So it's a 5.5 again by 8.5 inch cover template. And you make sure that like the spine is what you want. Like I have my name and the title of the book on that spine, and then I have these saved as PDFs, the front, the back, and the full template together. I have it saved 3 different ways on my computer. So, you know, this is the front, and it shows you when you go in to their how-to guide through Barnes & Noble exactly what the red and blue lines mean for the margins for this paperback size template that you've selected. So this is the front. It even tells you and breaks down what each line means, how to space the margins, and all of that, which the computer does a lot of that for it. You don't even have to like be good at math. You just input what it tells you to do. And then Yep, so this is, just like I said, it's a how-to guide. So I'm just showing you that they offer you like a step-by-step guide on how to do it. So this is what it looks like on how I'm actually going to upload it, how I did it for testimonials, where it shows you the front and the back, and then this spine here in the margins, and what the margins will look like, and that barcode on the bottom is where your ISBN code goes, showing the price of the book. And the ISBN code is a unique identifier for your book in the entire country of the United States that the government keeps a record of. For tax purposes as well, because you're going to get income from that. So now once you have everything exactly how you want it with the right sizes, mostly created through Microsoft Word, and then following their exact PDF cover guide, which again, when you click on this formatting guide here, it takes you to this PDF that you can download and save onto your computer with like 30 pages of specific details on how to do these things. Which again, you just kind of have to have computer knowledge to know how to do, but it helps you and shows you step by step with visuals, pictures, diagrams, and words. So it actually is really helpful if you read the whole thing. And now you're going to see a similar page to upload your cover file that you saw when you uploaded your whole document. And it's going to show you how it would look if it was printed and folded with the margins and sizes that you chose for the cover, because you also have to include your spine. So, you know, the spine of my book says Testimonials by Kelly Peritelli, and that's what people may see if it's on the shelf like this, and it's not front facing, which I already discussed. This PDF that they have all on the website, which it's free to create this account. So it's a resource guide, really. It's free knowledge for you on how to do this if you're not a computer person. So it shows you how it looks in Microsoft Word with pictures and which things to even click on when you go into Microsoft Word to get this layout and design correct for your cover design, which will be different because typically they're in color, and you can choose color for the inside of your book. I did black and white for my interior, mostly because it's less expensive, but I also just wanted it that way. I wasn't intending to include any images or pictures on the inside of my book like I would if I maybe do a photography travel book in the future. That would be in color, but it is more expensive to print in color. So when I showed you the price for $3-4 per print for my black and white, that's with the only color being on the cover of the book, which I did want because colors are important to me on the cover design. I already talked about that in my book, why I chose the colors that I chose, primary colors and gold and white. And I've got my angel on today, so it totally makes sense. So this is where it shows you the cover designs for whatever size you chose, whatever you chose, if it was paperback or hard copy, or if you wanted in color or black and white, which some people do their cover in black and white. It's totally up to you as the artist, and that's the benefit of being an independently self-published author, is that you can do it however you want. And Canva is a great tool to use. You can do it for free, like I've said before, for up to 30 days. That's what I used to create this cover. Again, I've got another video about that already. So I'd already created it on Canva, and then I saved it onto my computer as color PDF with the right size that they're suggesting, and then I uploaded the same way I uploaded a file. Now, again, they have all these how-to guides right on this process. You keep clicking continue if you don't want to read those again, and then this is where you compare the sizes to the cover with the spine included to your interior format, and you go online. And as you can see, this, as I said, the formatting was the most difficult part for me. I have multiple images saved in multiple sizes because it took me a while to get it correct, because the cover design is not the same size as the interior. It's similar, but it's not the same because you have to include the spine, and because I'm not good with numbers, and it took me a long time to figure it out. But maybe some people who are good with numbers and following step-by-step directions, who are better at that than me, will succeed quicker at this validating your file correctly on their website. So anyways, may the force be with you. I believe that you will figure it out. Don't give up. Now, review your cover file. This is the step where you review the final again, what it will look like. They show it all there right for you. It's step-by-step directions, and that white space that they're leaving is for the barcode, and then that shows you what the spine will look like, the front and back together as if it were folded and printed that way. And so that first one was not correct because there was white around the edges. Again, I had to play around with it until it was looking correct. But them showing you how it will look is a great way to make sure you want it exactly how you want it. And I didn't want that white on the edge. I wanted it blue all the way around, including on the spine. And so I played around with it until I got the right file size saved, and that's why I have all those options saved in that file for cover design. So it finally uploads here to the right size, the final print preview for my book cover design and spine. This one says a barcode problem is found, but that's just because I'm uploading an example of my original testimonials, and again, they won't allow you to have two ISBN codes. So again, I'm doing this as a mock tutorial for you, and I said you can only have one ISBN code per book. So I was just doing this as an example, and I was using my old book from Testimonials to show you what it would look like to upload the barcode. But they won't allow you to use the same one twice. So you would have already had to have purchased your ISBN barcode. And if I was doing my second book right now on this website, I would have had to have purchased a new one already and have that ready to go to upload during this final process. So once you've finally got everything together, the formatting correct, the cover design how you want it, the right size and shape, your ISBN barcode updated as a unique identifier for whatever book you're doing, you've paid, it's gotten approved, it's ready to go, they've given you the number, you are ready to upload this correctly. So I'm going to choose the right final for the sake of showing you what this looks like without the barcode, so it will let me proceed. And it should validate this. And this is where you review your full cover. I don't have the barcode there on purpose, so I can proceed and show you how this looks. And here you can click on the front, the back, the full cover, and the spine and what that will look like. This was not the final. I'm just doing this to show you how it looks, because on my final, as I said, I had the spine with my name and the name of my title. I named it, I had saved it as the final size after many tries, because it really truly took me many times to get it exactly how I wanted it. You can always see it before you submit. If it allows you to upload correctly and it's said that it's in the right format, and then you click I have reviewed and approved this, and you click continue, and here's where it goes to the final details of your book, which is the second to last tab. And on this page is where you're going to enter in the title. If you do a pre-order date, which I don't suggest because it kind of complicates things with your copyrights. And then, so I'm not going to go much further than this page because I'm not actually going to choose a publication date. I don't have one for a new book. This is just a mock tutorial to show you exactly how it looks. You would enter in the date that you want to publish this. It's not giving me a future date because it expects that you've already gotten your copyright claims when you're finally at this point. And so, because technically the publication date is the copyright date or today in this system. So if you haven't done that already, I would just choose today's date, because as soon as you finish this, it's going to be available on their website for sale and print to order. So now is when you enter in the description of your book, which I did compilation of non-fictional short stories and poetry, but whatever you want to write here is just strictly for Barnes & Noble's website. When they click on the link, it will show a brief description from the author, and to have something on file for them and how they would search for your book online. So contributor's name is me, the role is author, that would be me. You can put information here about the author, but it's optional and I'm not going to do it right now. I don't think I did it when I did my book anyway. And then this is the target audience. They make you choose these things. Whenever there's a red asterisk, it's required. I did general adult because it's not meant for children, but it's not because it would be inappropriate for children. It's just because it's gauged at the audience of adults, because it's something that an adult would be doing, because you have to be 18 years or older and you have to be a US citizen to legally publish a book in your name and purchase copyright content in ISBN barcodes in your own name. You have to be a legal adult to do so. So this is not gauged towards children as the primary audience. However, it would not be inappropriate if children watched it, and they may still learn something, but they likely would not have the skills and resources to do this. Maybe they would. But the point is that it would only be an adult who would realistically be doing this, or an adult would be doing it for them, perhaps, to have legal consent to do. So here is where you would select the language, which is English, but you'll see the options that they have here is apparently Spanish, German, Italian, Dutch, and the latter. And then here's where you choose your category, and it's wild to me that you either choose fiction or nonfiction. They classify poetry as fiction, which I find highly offensive, but half of this is nonfictional short stories and half of this is poetry, and even my poetry I do not consider fiction, and it's crazy to me, in fact, that they consider poetry fiction. I've said that before. So anyway, I'm choosing nonfiction, and then in this category list, you're gonna see some options here in this drop down box. In this menu here, you're gonna see categories again that they are basically limiting you to. I'm not gonna say that it's like a criticism or try to sound negative, but there's a lot of categories that they could have included here on Barnes & Noble's self-publishing press site that they did not. These are the ones that they have as options. So I'm supposed to choose between travel, social sciences, self-help, fiction, nonfiction, and you'll see that when I click nonfiction, those were the options. Now if you click fiction, these are the options that come up. There's an entirely different list of categories to choose. So one of them is poetry, because they consider poetry fiction, like I said. Then you've got cultures, romance, science fiction, and fantasy. And so, yeah, I'm choosing nonfiction. It's not fake. You know what I'm saying? Fiction means fake. And these are real life stories and testimonials, hence the title of my book. And a lot of people consider spoken word and rap poetry, so to call that fiction to me is highly offensive. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to choose a subcategory of artists, and you'll see these other boxes appear. Artists, photographers, art professionals. I think I chose women's literacy, poetry, spiritual poetry, and non-fictional biographical short stories originally, but I'm just choosing this now as an option for you. And then I'm putting some keywords in here, kind of like you would if you know how to use search filters on various websites. Like Amazon has search filters, Indeed.com has them. Lots of websites use search filters. And this is what Barnes & Noble's would look like if you were searching for these categories, basically, and how they will find your book. So online when they go to search. So here's where you're going to determine your book's price. And this is the retail price. And it says, please note the printing cost and the book size and type section have been updated to reflect the exact count of your pages. And then this is where you decide based on their profit margin that they will make through Barnes & Noble. And your author royalty per print book based on whatever retail price you choose. And you get to choose, they give you a suggestion based on the page size, the format that you chose for the book, how much is color and how much is black and white, if it was glossy or if it was matte. And if there's images on the inside or not and designs, those are all the things that go into their estimation of how much your book, quote unquote, should cost. But I don't think it's fair for anyone to determine the value of your work but you. So they do give you a place to manually enter this amount in. I chose $12.99 for my book because I didn't want it to be expensive for people and I wasn't doing it for money. But I also knew that they would charge for shipping costs through this website to anyone who purchases it online. And for the people who did, I greatly appreciate it. Here you'll see the difference between the printing costs and the author royalty per print book, as well as retail and distribution costs. And you'll see these percentages. The author's profit margin is more. It always should be. But in this case, Barnes & Noble takes 45% of the royalty and the printing cost per book. So you only see 55% of the profit for this book through Barnes & Noble, and we'll get to this in the pros and cons that I do between Schuler's and Barnes & Noble's and Amazon KDP. Amazon KDP is the same percentage as Barnes & Noble. Keep in mind that these are corporate chains, even though they have their own self-publishing services. So, this 55% is the same profit margin that you would receive if you used Amazon KDP. And some people believe that this is worth the risk in terms of the fact that a loss in profit margins because of how big of a platform Amazon KDP is worldwide. So nowadays, sadly, most people are reading things online. I still believe in holding books in our hand, as I've said before, and reading real books and kind of putting technology aside sometimes. I believe in that. And I believe that we should always have the option to read real books and also go online. And some people would argue that it's not environmentally friendly, but some people would also argue that the 1% that rule the world are not doing what they say they're going to do anyway when it comes to environments and protections. So we can only do what we can control as individuals. And so I think you should do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting other human beings, because you can't control what the people at the top are really going to do with the power in terms of recycling on the planet. So I believe in holding hard copies of books in your hand, and I believe in my heart that it's right. And so, I mean, you know, within reason, within balance, I think you should have the option to do these things online in the day and age that we're living in, but also have the option to have them on hard copies on the shelves, and that's why I myself also do both. And to give myself, you know, a broader range to reach broader audiences. But, you know, Amazon KDP and Barnes & Noble are way bigger platforms than a local and independent bookstore like Schuler's. So a lot of people believe that this profit margin is worth all the work that they'll do, so to speak, to market your book and to have it be searchable on such a big platform, because so many people see it as such a wider audience. However, there's also a lot more authors and artists on there to compete with, and you do still have this great loss in profit margin. I mean, it's almost 50-50, like they've done 45% of the work, which they have not. So anyway, the difference is with Schuler's and local independent bookstores, even though it is a smaller audience, the royalties that you receive are 80-20. And so sadly, the author gross margin before costs is 55% in most of the big platforms nowadays. So for all the people who say, but the difference is when you self-publish, I want to make this clear to all the people who are appalled by that. The difference when you self-publish is they do not own the quote-unquote legal royalty that comes with the copyrights. They do not own the royalty when it comes to your title or your ISBN bar code. They own the royalty only on their own platform. So that just means that they are receiving a percentage of the costs for printing, shipping, and distributing your book. If you had published this through a publishing company instead of being self-published, they would legally own the content to your copyrights in the United States of America, and that's very different. So the difference is when you're a self-published author, you own 100% of your copyright royalties legally in the United States of America, in this country, the freest country on earth. That's the difference between self-publishing and publishing through another company. So I think people freak out when they see this screen about royalties. And I just want you to know that when it says that they get 45% of the retail distribution, it only means through their platform when it comes to printing costs, when it comes to shipping and distribution. But you as a self-published author still own 100% of your royalties when it comes to the copyrights of your content in the country of America, which supersedes any individual corporate platform like this. Now, if you had published your book through a publishing company instead of self-published, that's when they would own 45% not only of your retail distribution printing costs and shipping, but they would also own 45% of your copyright royalties in the United States. That's the difference you need to understand. Because people in the artist world, especially in the music industry, they know all about copyrights. People who are YouTube content creators know all about copyrights and what royalties mean in the music industry especially. But when it comes to being a self-published author, you always own 100% of your copyright royalties, which means you legally own 100% of your content, which means you can produce it on any platform and get any percentage of whatever that cost is going to be. You own it in a court of law 100%. This just means that they get 45% of the retail distribution through their platform. If I went through Schuler's as a self-published author, I would 100% own my copyright content in the United States of America, but I would receive 80% of this retail distribution profit on every sale, and they would only get 20. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to support local and independent businesses in this day and age, especially in the United States of America, so that real people may actually be able to live the American dream, so that we actually have a middle class. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be self-published, because it's never been easier to do it with these platforms online than it was in our entire history. My grandmother was an author through a publishing company because they did not have the option to self-publish online, and they did not have the technology and the internet required in her time to self-publish the way I have. And that is also why I'm extremely thankful to have the opportunity and to live the way I'm living now in this day and age, to be able to self-publish online and own 100% of my copyright royalties. When it comes to the profits on this retail distribution, this platform's making 45% and I'm making 55%. With Schuler's, I'd be making 80. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to support these independent companies and to be independent in your self-publishing. I hope that if nothing else from these videos, you take away that. Now, this is where it shows you the breakdown. Let's change it here to $19.99, for instance, and this is where it will show you the updated author royalty print per book would be $7.51. That's them doing the math for you if you were to get this 55% of the cost. That shows you the printing cost and the breakdown per book for author royalties, and it does the math for you and automatically calculates it. So let's say I'm doing $19.99. I'm going to click save and continue for the purposes of this educational video going forward. This is the rights and information. Do you want this content to be in a public domain? And this is just them double clicking, double emphasizing the fact that you have purchased the copyrights to your book, you already own all the content, and you're willing to publish it on this public domain through their website online to have this link Googleable. When you search Google as well under my title and my name, you will find this book and this link to Barnes & Noble. This is the part where you would put editorial reviews if you have them. I did not. Typically, self-published authors will not, unless you happen to know someone and get lucky. And this final page, this final step is the ISBN code, which I discussed. You would already have had to have purchased, approved for by the United States Copyright Association and ISBN Association, and have that paid for, approved, and sent to you so that you have the 13-digit unique identifier product code for your book's barcode. And then you would click, yes, I have it. You would It shows you where to get it right on their page here. It shows you the formatting guide, and it shows you the website you would need to go to purchase this ISBN code. So I actually did it right from their website, clicked on the link. It took me here to the International ISBN Agency. You click on what country you're in. You create an account again with a username and password. And then you have your bank account information or debit or credit card on there that you can use and all the information and facts you need to know about how to purchase these things and get them approved are right on this website. It shows you the prices, the packages that you can choose, because you can do it a couple different ways, but I'll make another video about that later. And all the different self-publishing information you would need for our specific country's guidelines in the United States. It's all right there on the website through Barnes & Noble, which is really nice that they offer all of that information just by the click of a link. So again, technology is what you make of it, and they have all the information right there at your fingertips for you to be able to see and decipher step by step. The last part here is that ISBN code. It's the last step. Once you've been approved for that, you would click Save and Continue. And again, it's telling me here that you can only use it one time. So if you've already been approved for one and used it, you can't use that same one again. And so it won't let me go forward until I have the new and updated one. So I'm going to leave this page for the purposes of showing you the last step here and what it'll look like. And I'll go back into my first book, Testimonials, that was completed here. Log in here just to show you what it'll be like. I never put my phone number, so I click no thanks. You have the option to give them your phone number or not. You have the projects that you have your sales reports, your account, and your author resources, your order history, and all of that. It'll show you if it's on sale or not. It'll show the ISBN. It'll show the date it was published, the size and the page count, and this is how you know that it has been successfully uploaded, that all parts have been completed. You'll see that it's on sale, and when you click on these three little dots, you'll have options to see the link, to see the data about your book, the date and the time that it will be available for purchase on the website. It's typically within 48 hours of you completing this process. And then this is the details for you to review and publish. You'll see that all these boxes are checked off on the left, that you've completed everything until the final steps. That's how you know you're at the end. Your details are in, it shows what you've embedded, and you review and publish and upload your final copy, and you'll get a message that says, you have successfully uploaded your book. And that is the final step, and you will get a message via email that says congratulations, you have successfully uploaded your final version of whatever title of the book you have. For me, it was Testimonials. They're like, congratulations, you've successfully uploaded all steps through Barnes & Noble, and it will be available via this link online on the Barnes & Noble website at so-and-so date or whatever publication date you've chosen. So again, it's all done online. It's a step-by-step process. You obviously are not going to finish it all in one day. I just put it on sale, ordered a few copies, let it come, and made sure it was okay. And it was exactly how I wanted it to be. So I continued to keep it on sale and started sharing the link. You'll have that page that has 5-star reviews at the bottom, and it will be immediately available whatever publication date you have online. And I think the publishing or the printing company that they use is actually in the state of Tennessee, because that's what it said on the shipping order when they mailed me the copies of my book. And so it took maybe, you know, the 3 to 5 business mailing days for them to come in the mail via UPS. And several copies were distributed. I put some on the shelves of every Schuler's independent location under consignment, which I already said means that you self-publish through another platform, but you want to put it on the shelves in Schuler's, and that is what they call consignment. So I hope that this how-to guide of how to publish on Barnes & Noble helps you. if you are looking to publish a book through their platform and you want to do it that way. I hope that you understand that it's easier than ever to publish self-published, how important it is to publish through yourself and not through another platform so that you legally own all the copyright contents in our country. And what these royalties mean, what the percentages mean, how much time it takes. You can always save as you go. Thank you so much for watching. Any support is appreciated for my book and for my YouTube channel. Peace, love, and respect to you all. Ciao.